Alright, welcome in. I'm Kodiak Broncos, and today I'm here to talk about my initial impressions with the Broncos 53-man roster. But before we get into it, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You can always wait till the end. Hopefully I'll have earned it. And yeah, without further ado, we got no time to waste, so let's dive right into it. Alright, so this is the Broncos 53-man roster. Obviously, there's going to be a couple moves still to be made within the next 24 hours or so. We also do have practice squad tomorrow and Thursday as well. But for the most part, this is the squad we're rolling into the year with. And there's just going to be a couple things I touch on. I'm just going to go position by position so you guys can hear everything I have to say. First of all, we did not keep Sam Ehlinger to be our third quarterback. Sean Payton did say in his press conference today that there is going to be a third quarterback within the building, whether it's active roster or practice squad, depends on every single team. Like every team in the NFL has a third quarterback in the building in some capacity. But yeah, so obviously we have Bo Nix, obviously we have Jarrett Stidham. Nothing changes there. We already knew that those guys were going to be our 1 and 2 entering the season. But we'll see if Ehlinger clears waivers. I don't think he will because the past few years he has balled out and he has made a 53-man NFL roster. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, if a team kicks the tires on him and they think that they can or he can help them out, then I don't know, that'd be fantastic for him. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling about our quarterbacks right now. Running back, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Tyler Bidet. So obviously the big thing is that we waived Audric Estime. I don't think I have anything to say about Audric Estime that hasn't already been said. What's crazy is a lot of casual fans really, really like Audric Estime. In my TikTok comments, in my YouTube comments, I still see a lot of people going to bat for Estime, and I get the idea behind it. That being said, to be completely honest, Audric Estime just does not run big at all. A lot of people misconceive him as a bigger back, and yes, while he is a bigger back, he's only a bigger back in name only. He doesn't have the propensity to, fall forward or whatever. Last year he couldn't capture the backfield, and that was with Javonte and Jaleel both playing very, very bad for most of the season. So yeah, it just wasn't going to happen here with Estime. It's one of those situations where a fresh start might be better for all involved. And also, Blake Watson was waived. He did have that hamstring problem. I don't know if it was a strain or a sprain, but regardless, he is not on this team's 53-man roster week 1. I thought he was making a very strong push initially. After the 49ers game, I thought he was going to be on this team, but the coaching staff, they really, really like Jaleel McLaughlin, so yeah. Tyler Bidet, I'm glad he made this team. I thought the usage of him last year was a little strange. That being said, once he showed us who he truly was this preseason, I'm happy to see him back. And obviously, Dobbins and Harvey are the 1 and 2. I thought it was really interesting that Dobbins did not play at all this preseason, and it'll be interesting to see how these guys get deployed because I genuinely have no idea. I don't know what the touch rate is going to be for Dobbins. I don't know what their backfield split is going to look like. I don't know what roles both guys are going to have. I don't know who's the third down back, but yeah, that's the way I'm feeling about all that. All right, so as far as the wide receiver room, we're just carrying 5 guys. Now, obviously, we traded Vele. We traded him to the New Orleans Saints, so he probably would have made this team had they, not even traded him to the Saints. But it becomes a little ticky-tacky. It's like, all right, what guy do you cut instead of Vele? And, obviously NFL is a game of opportunity cost. So I'm glad that we were able to get a 4th-round pick for him. But I'm going to miss him, like I said. Either way, you look at this wide receiver room, it's a little interesting because, honestly, deactivating Vele was probably something that was going to happen had you gone into the year with him. And then behind Devon Vele, or even just going beyond Devon Vele, I should say, you're going to notice no Courtney Jackson, no Joaquin Davis, no A.T. Perry. And a lot of people who are well connected within the team think that A.T. Perry is the next man up. We'll see what truly happens. Tight end, Evan Ingram, Adam Troutman, Lucas Kroll, and Nate Adkins. Obviously, Nate Adkins is going to miss the first couple weeks of the season. We'll see what happens because the Broncos can still, use their practice squad elevations on a true fullback because honestly, we don't have a true fullback on this 53-man roster right now, but we're going to need one. It's important to the Sean Payton offense, so I'm interested to see what happens there. Offensive line, we are carrying 9 dudes, and I know there's been a lot of talk about Ben Powers lately, but I still think he's a solidified starter on this team. Considering how well the team played in pass protection last year, I don't think they want to change anything, at least going into the season, with these guys or anything like that. Yeah, that's the way I'm feeling about all these guys. Ben Powers, Luke Wattenberg, you know, those guys are cemented starters, whether some people like it or not. Forsyth, I think he will be the first guy off the bench if Wattenberg struggles or if our right guard struggles. Now, what was interesting is that Parrott got the first snaps at left guard in the second team unit yesterday. So it's just like it seems like he just prefers the left side of the line. Alex Palczewski played very, very well in relief of Mike McGlinchey last year to the point where a lot of people were saying, hey, maybe we have something in the future in Palczewski, but he had a really, really disappointing preseason, so hopefully he can bounce back from that. It's really mystifying to me because he had a really, really good sample of 4 games in the NFL last year in the regular season, yet somehow I don't know what happened to him, not being that good in the preseason this past year. Oh well. And then Frank Crum, it's just a little interesting that they decided to keep Frank Crum. Also, I do think Gargiulo would have made it over Frank Crum had Gargiulo not gone down with that really bad ACL injury, but I digress. So Frank Crum. Frank Crum is one of those guys where he's a great athlete. He's an uber talented guy, but you still see some of the inexperience. Like on Blake Watson's really big long catch and run against the San Francisco 49ers. He had that really long play, and then it was wiped out because Frank Crum was like 15 yards downfield. And to be honest, that play probably doesn't happen without Frank Crum being that far downfield. So, yeah, Frank Crum, like him, he's a local dude, or I guess you can consider Wyoming local because a lot of people in Wyoming cheer for the Broncos. But, yeah, overall, that's how I'm feeling about our offensive line. The first guys off the bench at left tackle and left guard are going to be Parrott. First guy off the bench at center and right guard are Forsyth, and then right tackle is Alex Palczewski. Cornerback, best quarterback group in the league, in my humble opinion. Damari Mathis is not on this team. I know that a lot of people were expecting the Broncos to potentially get trade compensation for him. Anybody that actually wants Damari Mathis is probably just going to put in a waiver claim, and then I do think he gets signed to another 53-man roster because there are just teams that simply do not have the luxury of corner depth that we do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because Damari Mathis does have a decent resume. Like he is a multi-year battle-tested dude. Like you're not banking on some rookie. Now, was he really that great? No, but experience and name value goes a long way in the NFL regardless of what you've shown on the field. Inside linebacker, 4 dudes. I thought we were going to carry 5, but the main thing that sticks out to me is no Lavelle Bailey. No Lavelle Bailey is really, I think, what threw a lot of beat writers for a curveball. A lot of people connected to the team said that they thought Lavelle Bailey was going to make this team. Instead, Karene Reed makes this team as well. So yeah, obviously we knew that Dre Greenlaw was going to be the number 1, but behind him it was a whole lot of what. And then Drew Sanders is going to go on short-term IR, if my memory serves me correctly. We'll see what happens when he comes back. I'm really interested to see how he's deployed, but either way, Singleton, Greenlaw are likely going to be your starters, which, I mean, I owe you all an apology because I was saying this entire offseason that I thought Singleton should have been cut. I was saying that I did not like his game at all in 2023, and I thought that one of these guys would supplant him. My bet was on Sanders, and that did not happen, so I'll admit it. I was wrong. Safety. We are carrying 5 safeties right here, and yeah, overall, Talanoa Hufanga, Brandon Jones, PJ Locke, Jalen Skinner, and Devin Key. I just do not like having Key on this team, especially because you consider the fact that we took Key over Bailey ultimately in our 53-man roster. Now, PJ Locke and Jalen Skinner did make this team because of their ability to be solid backups, and Skinner in particular to play special teams. A lot of people were saying that they didn't think PJ Locke would make it, but I think even as a big critic of PJ Locke last year, I at least had the foresight to be like, hey guys, at least now he can be deployed in his correct role, which is a third safety off the bench. Definitely not a starter, but it's interesting to see how that injury affected him, and we'll see because there is merit to being the third longest tenured Bronco at this point, and that's what PJ Locke is. He was always fighting an uphill battle. He cut his teeth in the NFL on special teams, and good for him. Outside linebacker, nothing surprising me here. We knew that it was going to be Benito and Cooper with Ellis, Tillman, and Q Robinson rotating. Q Robinson in particular is going to get a lot of run on special teams, but he's more of like, all right, let's see what we have in this guy. And what was interesting is I saw a graphic of preseason pass rush win rate amongst like reserves and backups or whatever. Q Robinson was ninth in the entire league, so that stuck out to me as well. Jonah Ellis obviously had an outstanding preseason. Like, I genuinely think he was our preseason MVP on the defensive side of the ball. Same with Chris Abrams-Drain in the secondary there. But, yeah, Zach Allen, DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers, Savion Jones, Malcolm Roach, Ioma Wazirike, Jordan Jackson. So, obviously, we knew that all these guys were going to make this team. Or, I should say, we knew that Allen, Jones, JFM, Savion, and Roach were going to make the team. Savion is the odd man out there, but they used a draft pick on him, and they used a third-round pick on him, so he was pretty much going to make the team no matter what. But Ioma Wazirike and Jordan Jackson, both of these guys played so well that the Broncos literally could not make a decision between them. You know, they're carrying 9 offensive linemen and 7 defensive linemen, which shows, hey, the trenches, they're deep now on the Denver Broncos 53-man roster. You know, and with Ioma Wazirike in particular, I think one of the main arguments I've heard for him is that when you're just getting run over last year, we didn't have a guy who could just throw out there and literally just stop getting bullied by opposing offensive lines that are bigger than our D-line, because while our D-line is very, very good and is amongst the best in the NFL, one thing we really do struggle with is size in particular. So if you're getting run over by Buffalo or Baltimore or whoever, again, you can just throw Wazirike out there. Then Jordan Jackson, he's a guy who played very well in a limited sample last year, in my opinion. And apparently both these guys had really good joint practices. So the fact that both these guys made the 53-man roster is very, very notable to me. It's very notable to me that they made the 53-man roster and Caleb Lohner did not. That's something I should have talked about a little earlier, but yeah. Special teams, Jeremy Crawshaw, Will Lutz, and Mitchell Fraboni. The only thing I'll say is that Jeremy Crawshaw is on this team, on this 53-man roster. And obviously, me complaining about Crawshaw in the preseason does nothing. I do think he will develop into a solid punter, but I definitely think we should bring one in the practice squad as well. Either way, that does it for me. There's a couple things I want to touch on. Like, obviously, I did not mention that Lohner had been cut from the tight end position, our 7th-round pick this past year. He probably lands back on our practice squad, but it was sourced within the Broncos building that the Colts were really interested in offering him a high-priority UDFA contract had he made it to the UDFA pool or whatever. So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on there. I didn't really understand the vision for the pick to begin with. Like, you're taking a guy who played 53 college snaps, and yeah, obviously the height is great and what all, but you know, still, it was a little confusing for me, even me. I also didn't touch on Chris Abrams-Drain. He has been so good this preseason, and I'm expecting him to have that outside and nickel flexibility and versatility. Jaquan McMillan is great, but he only has nickel versatility, and he's one of my favorite Broncos. And now it's kind of a crowded spot, but you know, I think there's a couple guys on our cornerback room who can play safety in absolute dire need, like Rylan Moss, Jade Barron as well. So yeah, that basically does it for me. Let me know what you guys think about our 53-man roster in the comment section down below, and I will be back to talk about the practice squad when it comes out. Mile high salute.